In life, there is no shortage of people who laugh easily, and no shortage of people who easily shed tears, and today there is yet another type of person that is becoming more and more common. They are those who easily get angry, easily become irritated, easily blame others, and even suffer from chronic temper issues. In fact, whether we realize it or not, the less capable a person is, the worse their temper becomes. In the Lotus Sutra, it is said, if you are willing, you will be fulfilled. If you are angry, you will receive anger. It means that in life, the way you treat others is the way life will respond to you. In this world, your temper determines your destiny, determines your ability to serve, and also determines your entire life. Therefore, people with a violent temperament find everything difficult to accomplish, while those with calm hearts and peaceful tempers will gather 100 blessings. Let us look at Saint Guifan. In fact, when he was young, he also had a bad temper, often using harsh language as an official, cursing and offending many people. Later, when he fell out of favor in the political field, no one stood up to speak for him. After that, he reflected on himself and realized that his temper was too hot and that he failed to consider human feelings. Upon awakening, he achieved the highest title of Marquis Yong and once served as Viceroy of Liangjiang, a first-rank official in the court. Therefore, in the Yellow Emperor's inner canon, it is said, 100 diseases arise from qi, meaning that all illnesses originate from qi. Anger causes qi to rise, fear causes qi to descend and disperse, sorrow causes qi to fade, cold causes qi to contract, all leading to imbalance. It seems that temper truly cannot be released carelessly, because when it erupts, it harms one's own body. There is a very good saying, the best way to cherish life is to control your temper. Instead of having the ability to get angry, it is better to strive harder. The better the temper, the deeper the blessings. There was once such a fable, long ago, there was a man who, every time he quarreled with others and became angry, would immediately run home and run 3 laps around his house and land. After that, his house and land grew larger and larger, but every time he got angry, he still ran around them. When he grew old, his land had become vast. One day, his grandson asked him, "Grandpa, no one around here has more land than you. Can you tell me why every time you get angry you have to run around your land 3 times?" The old man replied, "When I was young, every time I got angry, I would run around my house and land 3 laps, and while running, I thought, my house is small, my land is little, where do I get the time, where do I get the right to be angry with others? Thinking of that, my anger naturally faded. So I devoted all my time to working hard. Now that I am old, I still get angry, but when I walk around my house and land, I think, my house is this big, my land is this vast, what do I have left to fuss about with others?" Thinking of that, the anger also disappears. Victory comes from tolerance, while destruction comes from temper. Only those who know contentment can have peace of mind in spacious hearts. Otherwise, no matter how much material possession we have, the heart cannot feel peace and joy. In life, we often encounter all kinds of troubling matters, from conflicts with colleagues and customers at work, to troubles within the family, such as between spouses, children, and parents, and then emotional and financial disputes with friends. Every issue, no matter how small, can affect our emotions. But any emotion, no matter when or why it arises, ultimately only exists for a moment and will disappear. Therefore, at the very moment a problem occurs, we must control our emotions well. Do not get angry, do not be extreme, do not speak overly harsh words. Learn to endure. Dear friends, temper is closely tied to each of us and follows us throughout our entire lives. The karmic consequences of temper are enormous. This next video is indeed a bit long. It is advised that you watch it when your mood is calm. It is better if you are not busy. If you patiently watch until the end, you will certainly gain something. If you can do it, blessings will surely be abundant. If you are currently busy, you can subscribe and save it. Otherwise later you may not find it again. Zhuangzi said, when Chong Zhu enjoyed glory, he was not delighted; when he was demoted, he was not angry. To not rejoice excessively in good fortune, to not be furious in adversity, and to not be controlled by emotions is the best state of a human being. In psychology, there is an experiment as follows: a hungry dog was locked in an iron cage, while another dog sat outside chewing a bone in front of it. The dog in the cage, because it was too hungry, quickly lost control, and the anger and agitation caused a pathological nervous reaction. The fate of that dog shows that anger is self-harm and suicide, while generosity is the secret to longevity. The old saying always remains true: anger harms the body. In the Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon, it is also pointed out, all diseases arise from qi. If a person's qi is not smooth and their heart is uneasy, even a small matter like a sesame seed or a bean can cause them to lose sleep all night. How then can they live happily and live long in good health? In fact, all bad temper originates from our inner heart. The more we are angry, the more complicated matters become. When anger drives away reason, we must learn to keep our hearts calm. For only by maintaining inner peace can harmony arise. The calmer we are, the simpler things become. There is a very good saying: the best way to cherish life is not to focus on health care, but to manage emotions. In life, we cannot avoid being misunderstood, wronged, or deeply hurt, but human life is inherently woven from both suffering and joy. If we calculate everything, life will surely be exhausting and miserable. We must know that our mood belongs to us, our body also belongs to us, and we should not sacrifice our health for unworthy people. Work should be kept simple, living should involve forgetting a little, and life will be more comfortable and pleasant. Only when you have a good temper can you have a healthy body. In life, getting angry is instinct, controlling anger is skill. Temper is feng shui, and also fate. If the temper is good, the feng shui is good; if the temper is bad, the feng shui is bad. Whatever temper you have is the destiny you will have. Temper determines a lifetime of destiny. As summarized in the final saying, a rough character struggles to accomplish anything, while a calm-hearted person will attract 100 blessings. A hot-tempered person who easily gets angry will find it difficult to achieve anything. Meanwhile, a gentle and kind person will naturally receive blessings. In this world, character determines destiny, while temper determines fortune. Long ago in a village, there were two elderly men of similar age. Although they were neighbors, their lives were completely opposite. One had a kind face and spoke gently, treating others with softness. Every time neighbors mentioned him, they praised him, calling him a good person with a good temper, and everyone wanted to interact with him. The other always looked at others with judgmental eyes, often gossiping behind people's backs. As long as something displeased him a little, he exploded in anger. Even when his children came to visit, he constantly criticized and scolded them. Over time, the children no longer wanted to return, and the neighbors also avoided him. His life became poorer and poorer, yet his temper never changed. A hot-tempered person is like a barrel of gunpowder ready to explode; even if fortune comes, it will be frightened away. Wang Yangming once said, "A narrow heart is the root of disaster, a broad heart is the doorway to blessings." A narrow and explosive heart is the source of misfortune, while tolerance and gentle temper are the foundation of a fortunate life. Life is also a process of cultivation, and only when one cultivates well and tempers oneself will good fortune come knocking. Temper also affects family harmony. The ancient said, "One angry face ruins the joy of an entire banquet." In a family, If there is one person who is often angry, the atmosphere of the whole house will be affected. A bad temper is like a virus, spreading quickly and bringing serious consequences. There was a father who was scolded by his boss at work. Feeling wronged, he brought his negative mood home. Upon arrival, seeing that his wife had not prepared dinner, he shouted loudly at her and even kicked the household pet beside him. The frightened animal ran out the door and accidentally collided with their son returning from school. What should have been a good day was ruined entirely by a moment of anger. If someone often becomes angry with family and quarrels endlessly, that home will become suffocating and may even fall apart. In life, do not let temper destroy your family. The ancients taught, when the family is harmonious, all things flourish. Only by controlling temper and treating loved ones gently can a family be peaceful and thriving. A person with a good temper will find everything smooth. The old saying goes, deep water flows slowly, slow speech is noble. A person who can control their temper naturally exudes noble character, and destiny will bring many blessings. A person with good temper will be happy throughout life and find everything smooth. With good temper, body and mind are healthy, and life is long-lasting. With good temper, one behaves gently, family becomes complete and happy, with optimism and positivity, and career naturally prospers with favorable winds. A person with good temper has a heart full of love, and naturally sees life blooming like spring. In life, do not let momentary joy wash away your blessings and take away your fortune, leaving only resentment behind. Bai Long Wang, a legendary figure in Thailand, once said many people travel thousands of miles to ask me whether their careers will go well, whether their families will be complete and happy, whether their children will have a future, and what their marriage will be like. I only ask them one question: is your temper good? A person only needs to have a good temper, and everything will naturally be good. The better the temper, the deeper the blessings. For the rest of life, be gentle and generous, do not grow angry without reason, do not calculate every little thing, cultivate a good temper, and nurture a good heart. Whatever temper you have is the destiny you will have. Whatever temper you possess is the life you will experience. All troubles in life originate from human attachment. Many conflicts and arguments arise from overthinking and excessive calculation. But truly intelligent people never allow emotions and anger to control their lives, instead they control both their emotions and temper. Instead of getting angry, compete in spirit. In this life, we must learn to control our emotions. The more easily a person gets angry, the less blessings they have. Truly intelligent people understand that controlling temper is even more important than controlling life. If a person cannot control their temper, it will be difficult to control their life. To live comfortably, first cultivate a good temper. If there are people around you who easily get angry, perhaps the following advice will help them. First, keep sincerity and start anew. The Analects say, a person without sincerity does not know what they can accomplish. A person who does not keep their word cannot stand firm in society. On the contrary, if someone is honest and keeps their promises, they can earn the respect of others. There was an old monk who took his disciple out to see the scenery. On the way, the old monk said to the disciple, "I want to learn patience." The disciple did not understand and asked, "Master, did you not say that one must learn patience?" The old monk smiled and said, "Patience is not enduring humiliation, but maintaining compassion. Second, patience is helping oneself escape suffering and also helping others escape suffering. In life, we cannot avoid setbacks and difficulties. If each time we become angry, we only throw ourselves into a deep pit of suffering. The proverb says, people have joys and sorrows, partings and reunions, sometimes clear, sometimes dark, and life cannot be perfect. In life, Things that do not go as we wish make up 8 or 9 out of 10. There are many things we cannot change. Since that is the case, instead of blaming fate or condemning the world as unfair, it is better to learn patience and acceptance. Often, when faced with difficulty, the only thing we can do is not to get angry, to avoid excessive anger that leads to illness. Anger harms the body, too much anger damages health. The ancients said, all diseases arise from qi. When we are angry, we often do things that lead to regret. The Yellow Emperor's inner canon says, anger harms the liver, joy harms the heart, sorrow harms the lungs, worry harms the spleen, fear harms the kidneys. Anger damages the liver, and if prolonged, it causes stagnation of qi and blood, affecting the normal functions of the organs. When angry, it easily leads to stagnation in the liver, excess yang in the liver, deficiency of liver blood, and other problems, and can also cause blood vessel spasms, high blood pressure, and similar symptoms. Research shows that people who are frequently angry are 5 times more likely to develop cardiovascular disease than normal people because emotional agitation excites the sympathetic nervous system, constricts blood vessels, and puts heavy pressure on the heart. Therefore, people who are often angry not only cannot live long, but are also more likely to suffer from cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and many other illnesses. We must learn to control our temper. When encountering unpleasant things, we must learn to resolve and redirect our attention. For what has already happened, do not keep dwelling on it, and for what has not yet happened, do not worry, fear, or feel restless. Third, anger is using someone else's mistake to punish yourself. The proverb says, the gentleman is at ease, while the petty person is always full of worry. In life, we often meet such people, ordinarily close friends who share everything. But when interests are involved, they immediately turn their backs and refuse to acknowledge you. With such people, the mistakes of others become mistakes of their own. They can at any moment push the mistakes of others onto themselves to achieve improper goals. Truly intelligent people understand that when others make mistakes, if we become angry, it is because we cannot accept them repeating the same mistake, or because we feel we are treated unfairly, but in reality, it all comes from a lack of self-confidence within. Such people often only hurt others without harming themselves. Therefore, in life, when encountering problems, learn to remain calm and resolve matters peacefully. That is the best way. Fourth, anger is using the faults of others to punish yourself. It is not worth it. In the doctrine of the mean, it is said, before joy, anger, sorrow, or delight arise, it is called equilibrium, when they arise appropriately, it is called harmony. When a person becomes angry, it is usually when emotions erupt, and they cannot control themselves. At that moment, one must strive to restrain emotions and avoid losing reason due to anger. In Kejenten, it is also said, if joy or anger does not show on the face and major matters are handled calmly, one can cultivate oneself, thereby changing oneself, thereby changing destiny. A person who can keep joy and anger from showing can grasp the right measure in life, reducing misfortune and disaster. But not showing joy or anger on the face is not easy. Very few can accomplish it. Because they understand that making decisions while angry will affect their entire lives. Therefore, to avoid hurting others and oneself, when angry, one must restrain emotions. That is more important than the anger itself. The ancients taught that anger is the greatest harm to oneself. In the Great Learning, it is written, knowing where to stop leads to stability, stability leads to calmness, calmness leads to peace, peace leads to reflection, and reflection leads to attainment. When people are angry, they often lose reason, doing things thoughtlessly, and actions taken in anger often lead to regret. Impulsive actions often lead to serious consequences, causing endless remorse. Therefore, when angry, the most important thing is to avoid letting anger cloud reason and instead calmly consider the consequences after the anger. If we can think of the consequences, then we will no longer be angry. And at that moment, we can control our emotions well. In life, we cannot avoid encountering unpleasant or unsatisfactory matters. But we must understand that anger cannot solve any problem, so it is better to face it differently. That is, doing what we love to release emotions. Life is short, do not let unworthy matters affect your mood and health. Fifth, only those with a good temper can have good relationships. A person lives a lifetime. The greatest wisdom is to control one's temper well. Do not ruin your mood because of others. A person without a good temper cannot earn the respect of others. In fact, controlling temper is not only a basic foundation but also the greatest skill of a person. A truly capable person, even when angry, will not speak ruthlessly or embarrass others. Because they understand that the angrier one is, the more careful one must be with words. In the comprehensive mirror for aid in government, it is said, use the heart that judges others to reflect on oneself. Use the heart that reflects on oneself to understand others. Everyone has faults and shortcomings, but that is not important. What matters is that when facing others, we must try to understand, tolerate, and empathize with them. A truly capable person has a temper but still knows how to behave. A person without ability often lacks proper temper and does not know how to be human. For a capable person, their greatest strength is knowing how to control their temper. Controlling temper is the skill of remaining calm in situations and handling matters without fear, and that is the greatest attraction of a person. When encountering situations, not becoming angry, keeping a calm heart, appreciating blessings without sorrow, cultivating the mind without anger, and maintaining aspirations without easily getting upset. Sixth, anger is using others' faults to punish oneself. Anger is like burying a time bomb inside the body. We must understand that anger is a sign of helplessness, it harms others. Torments oneself, is a form of slow self-harm, and is a kind of mental injury. Human destiny is actually determined by one's character. Whatever character you have will determine your fate. To change destiny, start by changing character. And to change character, it is best to adjust personal habits. In the Book of Discussions, it is written, all blessings never leave the thoughts of the mind. The fortune or misfortune of a lifetime can actually be seen. To know whether a person has blessings, just look at 4 aspects and it will become clear. A person with stable emotions creates good karma. The scriptures say, when the mind arises, all phenomena arise, when the mind ceases, all phenomena cease. A person who maintains emotional stability and inner peace will easily perceive and experience the world better, and will easily establish good karmic connections. Long ago, there was a young merchant, who was very wealthy but had a hot temper. One day, he met a wise sage. The sage told him, your heart is like a glass of muddy water being stirred. You need to be still so the mud can settle, then you will see clearly. The merchant could not understand and asked what that meant. The sage said, when you are angry, it is like the mud in the water being stirred up, your thoughts and judgment will be clouded by chaotic emotions. Only when your inner heart becomes calm can you see the essence of the problem clearly. The merchant finally understood the sage's words. From then on, he began learning to control his emotions, gradually becoming more rational, mature, and patient. Over time, he was no longer easily affected by emotions, his business prospered more and more, and his family became increasingly harmonious. The gentler the temper, the deeper the blessings. Just as the saying goes, when resentment rises, blessings disappear. Meaning, temper can block blessings. The calmer the mother's emotions, the warmer the family atmosphere. The steadier the father's emotions, the more harmonious the entire household. When the mother is peaceful, the children feel secure. When the father is firm, the whole family feels stable. When your mood is good, not only will your family be happy, work successful, and health flourishing, but even fortune will improve. 7th, those who speak gently show cultivation. The Book of Right says, "Deep water runs slowly, and a noble person speaks slowly." Speech reflects cultivation and is also a sign of blessings. Long ago, there was a young prince, very intelligent but talkative, often making careless remarks without understanding situations. Once, the prince traveled as an envoy to a neighboring country. During a banquet, he mockingly said, "We do not need to worry about foreign invasion, unlike your country." Hearing that, the neighboring prince's face changed. A few days after returning to his own country, he learned that his careless words had caused the neighboring nation to launch an attack, resulting in great loss for his kingdom. Opening the mouth brings disaster, closing the mouth brings blessings. A truly strong person knows to keep silent when proud and keep calm when disappointed. As the saying goes, when one has mountains and rivers in the heart, there is no need to prove anything by words. The more impatient and shallow a person is, the more they love to win in arguments. A mature person is humble and composed. Even when in a high position, they are neither arrogant nor boastful. The words you speak become your master, while the words you swallow become your servant. In the doctrine of the mean, it is said, "Speech influences the hearts of others, and that is the greatest auspiciousness." To see whether a person has blessings, look at what they often say. If their mouth is filled with negative energy, full of complaints and gossiping about others, then they will not have any blessings. On the contrary, there are people who speak very little, but whenever they speak, it is full of positive energy, offering blessings to others, and they themselves become the best feng shui of their lives. Such people know how to guard their speech. Do not say what should not be said, do not do what should not be done, and do not associate with those unnecessary. Naturally, life becomes harmonious, career smooth, and thus life complete and destiny fulfilled. 8th, those with a positive mindset will attract good fortune. The mind is like a painter that can paint time. Happiness or sorrow is simply an expression of the mind. As long as thinking changes, everything changes. There is a real psychological experiment called the lucky coin experiment. In this experiment, researchers randomly placed some coins on pathways in a school campus and invited people to walk through and try to collect as many coins as possible. However, results showed that those who believed they were lucky often collected more coins, while those who believed they were unlucky collected fewer. This is because those who consider themselves lucky maintain a positive attitude and belief toward everything. So they notice more good things and opportunities around them and can easily discover benefits. On the contrary, those who consider themselves unlucky and have a negative mindset will increasingly believe they are unfortunate and easily miss opportunities and good fortune in front of them. Mindset affects our behavior. A truly fortunate person is one who is always optimistic and positive. When you are in your best state, your energy flows smoothly, and the people and situations you attract will also be favorable. If a person lives in negative energy, complaining all day, they will only attract bad things. Therefore, people must learn to be happy, to know contentment, to be grateful, and to love. When your heart is filled with such positivity and your energy is strong, then good things can come to you. The elders say, when a person encounters joy, their spirit becomes refreshed. When someone experiences happiness, their spirit improves, and the better the spirit, the more happiness they encounter. Smile at life, and blessings will come unexpectedly. 9th, those with broad vision have deep blessings. The ancient said, "Great capacity brings great blessings." The broader a person's vision and heart, the deeper their fortune. Long ago, there was a young man who lived in constant anxiety. He constantly tormented himself over past mistakes and failures, unable to let go. Every day he felt tired and discouraged. He went to seek guidance from a Zen master. The master said, "Your heart is too small, you must let go of past troubles to truly live." The young man felt enlightened but did not know how to let go. The master said, "Imagine your mind as an ocean, throw all worries into it and let the waves wash them away." The young man followed the advice. Gradually, he began to see more good things, more opportunities, more possibilities. Over time, his inner heart grew wider. Eventually, his life changed greatly. His work became smoother, and his relationships became more harmonious. He began to enjoy life and live true to himself. People are unhappy not because they have too little, but because they cannot let go of too much. Someone insults you once, but you remember it all day. The person speaks only once, but you remember it for a year, as if they insulted you every day of that year. With a narrow heart, everything becomes burdensome, but with a broad heart, everything becomes as light as clouds. The ancient said, "Suffering loss is a blessing." A truly broad-minded person does not calculate gains and losses. They face everything with clarity and openness. Knowing how to follow fate, how to be tolerant, without clinging or blaming. The key to blessings is not in the word blessing, but in magnanimity. Those with a broad heart surely possess blessings. An open-hearted person will always have good destiny. In the Taishan Geinian Pian, it is said, "Misfortune and blessing have no door, they come by what people invite." Misfortune or blessing in life may seem unpredictable, but ultimately, they are results of one's own cultivation. If one holds steady temper, one preserves good fortune. To accumulate blessings, starting today, become a person with a good temper. Replace calculation with tolerance, replace anger with calmness. Only when the heart is always joyful and neither depressed nor angry can one, amidst the smoke and dust of life, attain a moment of freedom. The path of life is long, and the misfortune we experience or the blessings we receive all come from our own cultivation. That is what it means that destiny is created by oneself. Therefore, the most effective method of improving fate in this world is to do good and accumulate virtue. A word of encouragement and a sincere heart in treating others are both acts of giving. The mind cannot be exchanged for material things cannot cure the mind, a single positive thought can. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.